What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Before I get started in the video, just want to let everybody know I will be live tonight on Bad Dogs channel, I think at about 8 o'clock, as of course I'll be calling the play-by-play as we do for every single New York Giants game on YouTube. So hopefully I get to see some of you guys over there for that, and then I will be back here live after the game for hopefully a celebratory stream as the New York Giants get their first win of the year, but we'll see how it all plays out. We all know this is a monster game for the New York Giants. Cannot afford to get off to an 0-2 start against a divisional foe in the Washington football team. So hopefully it's rainbows and butterflies and we get to celebrate tonight late into the probably 1:30, 2 o'clock hour after a late Thursday night football game. But I wanted to jump into the big story leading up into this game as it just came out about an hour ago, according to Jordan Renan, as the New York Giants have made a change on their offensive line. Now, we all knew that the starting lineup was going to have to change going into this game. The question was going to be what will it be, being that Shane Lemieux is out for this football game, and you have to figure that this is an injury that is going to linger throughout the year, which is exactly why the New York Giants went out there and picked up Billy Price, why they picked up Skur, why they picked up Bredesen for things like this. They knew going in that Lemieux's knee was probably going to be an issue, and I think they would have picked up depth anyway, being that that was definitely a major weakness for this offensive line. The Giants elected to pick up guys with some high upside, Billy Price being one of them, and that is the change that will take place today on the New York Giants offensive line. Of course, the Giants went out there and traded for Billy Price when they gave up B.J. Hill, who had 2 sacks in his first game with the Cincinnati Bengals. Something you don't love to hear there, but of course we wish him the best, but could have used that game number 1 for the New York Giants. Billy Price, a former first-round pick, was thought to be a very good offensive lineman coming into the NFL in 2018. Since then, he has been very underwhelming. In his second year, I think he had like a 42 PFF grade. Last year, he had about a 50, 55. He's dealt with injuries. He's played both the guard and the center spot. The good news is Billy Price did look much better this year, and I'm going to jump into some of the things that people had to say about him going into this season in the preseason. But of course, we're going to have to wait and see how he plays with the New York Giants. But by inserting Billy Price into the starting lineup, you also are going to be shifting Nick Gates. Nick Gates, of course, has played the center all of last year for the New York Giants and the first game this season when they shifted him over there from the tackle spot. Gates has played all over this offensive line, whether it be right tackle, whether it be, briefly at the guard position and the center position last year. I have some good confidence that Gates could get it done. The question is, how will it affect the rest of the offensive line, and will this be the unit going forward? This coming out from Jordan Renan. Significant change for the Giants on the offensive line versus Washington. Plan is for Billy Price to start at center per sources. Nick Gates slides to the left guard, and maybe some people question why not put Will Hernandez back at his natural position at the left guard, but I actually agree with this decision to leave Will where he is. I still think that may take another week or two. I know I bash Will Hernandez for his week 1 performance, but let's be fair, he's still getting acclimated to playing over on that right side, and I don't want to do too much shifting. You're getting him and Solder acclimated to one another playing on the right side, and he will shift into the left side, which of course is now vacated by Shane Lemieux, who's out with that knee injury. So they're going to move Nick Gates from center to left guard, and taking the center spot will be Billy Price. This coming out from Renan. Price was acquired via trade just over 2 weeks ago. Gates has started just 1 NFL game in the NFL at guard. Barkley went for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game in a 2019 win over the Miami Dolphins. And like I said, man, I think Nick Gates is a gamer. I'm not too worried about him, whether he's playing the guard, whether he's playing the center. I think he'll get the job done. He's a guy that I think we all agree is a guy that we could really put our faith in on the offensive line and at least do an adequate job. The question now becomes Billy Price and whether or not Nate Solder could get the job done on the right side. When you look at the numbers last week, and I'm not going to pull them up for you guys, yes, the offensive line did a much better job than we all anticipated in pass protection. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Denver Broncos weren't ultra aggressive. When you look at the blitz percentage last week, the New York Giants ranked 4th in the league. The Denver Broncos, however, ranked 25th or 26th. They only blitzed about 13% of the time. The Giants blitzed 44% of the time because Denver probably felt like they could rely on that strong secondary. I fully expect the Washington football team to bring a little more heat after Daniel Jones, and we'll see how the New York Giants try to combat that in terms of their pass protection and their play calling. Of course, we all know going into the year that the offensive line was going to be a major question mark. Now, Billy Price, and again, it's preseason, but it was the first unit does have some experience this year against this Washington offensive line, and maybe that had something to do with the decision-making of how he performed against them earlier on in the season. This coming from the Cincinnati Bengals website. Against the Washington football team, Price finished with a solid 76.4 pass blocking grade. According to PFF, he was part of a starting offensive line that held the opposing D-line starters, all first-round picks, to 0 pressures. That's a big deal considering the talent on Washington's defensive line. And again, it's preseason. But all the write-ups on Billy Price in preseason was he was looking like a much improved player. It's just that the Cincinnati Bengals didn't really see a role for him going forward with some of the offensive linemen that they drafted. So the New York Giants took a flyer on him because I would assume they felt that he would fit their scheme. Price coming into the pros, the book on him was at times he could be too aggressive. And people felt like that teams could take advantage of him at the pro level, that he's strong. You do see a lot of pancake blocks when you watch him on film, but we'll see how he plays with the New York Giants week number 2. The one thing you definitely got to be looking at is that center quarterback exchange. Yes, Price has played center before, but he's never played it with Daniel Jones at the quarterback position in a live game. We all know last year when Gates was playing that center spot, that was very shaky for the New York Giants. Hopefully Billy Price could get the job done, and hopefully this offensive line could get a push. Last week, the run blocking was abysmal for this football team. As good as the pass blocking may have been, and as much better than we thought it was going to be, the run blocking couldn't get anything done up the middle. Some of that definitely fell on the play calling. We need to see a little bit more innovation in the ground attack, but we need to get a much better push up front. And maybe the reason they're doing this is kind of what Jordan Renan alluded to. Last year, last time Nick Gates was playing the guard, Saquon Barkley had a tremendous game against the Miami Dolphins where he rushed for over 120 yards. I believe that was Eli Manning's last game, and maybe they feel that Nick Gates will help them in terms of running the football. I need to see the New York Giants run the football on the left side, something that I think is common sense with Andrew Thomas and Nick Gates now on that left side. I would expect the New York Giants to try to attack that side of the field when it comes to running the football tonight with Saquon Barkley, Devontae Booker, and whoever else may be running the ball. Need to see the offense be a little bit more explosive tonight, and we'll see if they look to use Daniel Jones a little bit in the ground game. I'm excited to see what they got coming out against the Washington football team, but there's major changes to that offensive line. But like I said earlier in the video, it's something that I think you had to expect going into the year when the New York Giants, just a week or two before the season, went out there and added 2 centers. It was a change that I think we all agreed needed to happen. We needed more depth, and now Billy Price will be inserted into the starting lineup for the New York Giants in the biggest game for the Giants in quite some time. A divisional game starting out 0-1. Both teams need to find a way to get a W. We'll see if this New York Giants offensive line can hold up against this very strong pass rush for the Washington football team. I will say last week the Chargers did a damn good job, and maybe the New York Giants could hold them at bay. We'll see just in about 4.5 hours. So hopefully I get to see you guys over there on Bad Dogs channel, and we'll party over here after hopefully we get a win tonight. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.